For about 2 minutes, the day goes dark, the stars come out, and the sun grows a ring of white fire. And it should be impossible. On the 12th of August 2026, that shadow swept across Iceland and Spain. Millions looked up, and almost none of them knew the secret hiding in the dark. A total eclipse isn't just beautiful, it is a coincidence so precise, both the sun and moon spanning almost exactly 0.5 degrees of sky, that astronomers still find it hard to believe. Here's the thing almost nobody tells you. The sun is a monster, about 400 times wider than the moon, 1.4 million kilometers across, but it also sits about 400 times farther away. So from Earth, the giant sun and the tiny moon look almost exactly the same size. The raw numbers are absurd. The sun is 1.4 million kilometers wide, the moon just 3,474. The sun sits 150 million kilometers away, the moon only 384,000. Two vast ratios canceling out. Nothing in physics requires that. The moon didn't have to match the sun. For 4.5 billion years, it just happens to, and to your eye, almost perfectly. Line them up, and the moon blocks the blinding surface of the sun exactly, no more, no less, and uncovers what is normally impossible to see. Push the moon a little farther out in its orbit, and it can't quite cover the sun. A blazing ring of fire is left around the rim, an annular eclipse. Remember that ring. It's the future. And we may be the only planet that gets this. Mars has 2 moons, lumpy little potatoes, far too small to ever cover its sun. Across the whole solar system, nearly 300 known moons. Not one makes this near-perfect fit with its own sun. Just ours. Just here. Just now. They're rarer than you'd think. Not in time, but in place. Somewhere on Earth sees one about every 18 months, but any single spot waits on average 375 years for its turn. When the moon covers the sun, it uncovers the corona, the sun's outer atmosphere, a crown of pearl-white light streaming millions of kilometers into space. You can only see it with the naked eye during totality, and it hides one of the strangest unsolved problems in all of physics. The corona is also about 1 million times fainter than the sun's surface. Only the moon's near-perfect block dims the glare enough to see it at all without being blinded. The visible surface of the sun is about 5,500 degrees, but the corona floating above it reaches 1 to 2 million degrees. Sit with that. The corona is over 200 times hotter than the surface just beneath it. Every other star cools from its core outward. The sun does the opposite, and no one is sure how. Since 1939, nobody has fully explained why, and it's total eclipses, nature blacking out the sun for free, that let us study it at all. That million-degree corona doesn't sit still. It boils off into space as the solar wind, the stream of particles that paints our auroras and can knock out satellites and power grids. In 2021, a NASA probe flew straight through the corona at over 500,000 kilometers an hour, hunting the answer. It touched the sun itself, and still the mystery holds. Eclipses don't only hide the sun. Twice they've handed us discoveries we could not have made any other way. In 1868, an astronomer watched an eclipse from India and caught a single yellow line of light, one that matched no element known on Earth. A single yellow line at 587 nanometers, a brand new element spotted in the sun before anyone found it on our own planet. They named it after the Greek god of the sun, Helios, helium, the only element in history discovered in space first. It took 27 more years before anyone isolated it here on the ground. Then in 1919, an eclipse did something even bigger. It put reality itself on trial. Einstein had made a wild claim that gravity bends space, and even a beam of starlight would curve as it grazed the sun. But how do you ever test that? You can't. The sun is far too bright, except for 2 minutes during a total eclipse, when the sky beside the sun goes dark enough to photograph the stars. In 1919, 2 British teams sailed thousands of miles, one to Brazil, one to a jungle island off West Africa, to bet a whole theory of the universe on 6 minutes of cloud-free sky. Arthur Eddington waited out the clouds on his island and photographed the stars right beside the blacked-out sun. The stars had shifted, pushed out of place by the sun's gravity by 1.75 arc seconds. the exact figure Einstein predicted. In 2 dark minutes, an eclipse rewrote the universe. Overnight, that result made Einstein a household name. Newspapers ran it across the front page, lights all askew in the heavens. A single eclipse had crowned the most famous scientist alive, and eclipse watching is ancient. Babylonian clay tablets and Chinese records over 3,000 years old logged them so precisely that today, we use them to measure how Earth's spin is slowing. And if you stand in the shadow yourself, the strangeness stops being abstract, it gets physical. Minutes before totality, faint rippling bands of light and shadow race across the ground, like sunlight on the bottom of a pool. Shadow bands, we still can't fully explain them. As the last sliver of sun disappears, it shatters into glittering points of light. Baily's beads, first explained in 1836, the final sunlight pouring through valleys on the moon's jagged edge. One last blaze, the diamond ring, and the shadow itself is already racing toward you at over 1,700 miles an hour. Faster than sound, you could never outrun it. The temperature drops, birds go quiet, a false sunset glows on every horizon at once. For 2 minutes, the world is convinced night has fallen. The daytime sky fills with things that shouldn't be there. Bright Venus, often Mercury, sometimes a comet, blazing out at noon. And it's brutally brief. A total eclipse can last at most about 7.5 minutes. Iceland in 2026 got barely 2, a lifetime's wait gone in a breath. Yet they run like clockwork. The very same eclipse returns every 18 years and 11 days. A rhythm called the Saros that ancient astronomers had already cracked, long before the telescope. So it's no wonder our ancestors were terrified. In 585 BC, 2 armies were mid-battle when the sky went black, and both sides simply stopped fighting. The eclipse had been foretold 2,600 years ago by the philosopher Thales. The soldiers read the darkness as a sign from the gods, laid down their weapons, and made peace on the spot. But here is the part that stays with me long after the light comes back. This perfect fit, it is temporary. The moon is drifting away from the Earth, about 3.8 centimeters every single year, roughly the rate your fingernails grow. We know because Apollo astronauts left mirrors on the surface, fire a laser at them, time the round trip, and the distance grows a little every year. The moon is leaving. 4 billion years ago, the moon hung perhaps 3 times closer, enormous in the sky, and a single day on Earth lasted only about 6 hours. Run the clock backwards, and the moon was closer. It loomed larger, and there was no delicate ring of fire, just a blunt blackout. Run it forward, and the moon shrinks in our sky. In a few 100 million years, the moon will be too far away to ever fully cover the sun. The blazing surface will always peak out. Totality will simply end. There will be a genuine last total eclipse, a final 2 minutes of that pearl-white corona somewhere on Earth, and then never again for as long as the planet exists. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. The stretch of time when the moon fits the sun this perfectly is a razor-thin sliver of that story. The dinosaurs saw eclipses, but the fit was already drifting. The people of the far future never will. We are alive in the one narrow era when it is near perfect. So every total eclipse you ever see is 3 things at once: an impossible coincidence, a free laboratory that rewrote physics, and a countdown you can watch with your own eyes. The next total eclipse crosses the United States in 2044. Go if you ever can. You won't just be watching a shadow, you'll be standing inside a 4 billion year coincidence that is quietly running out. For 2 minutes, the moon covers the sun exactly. Not roughly, exactly. And one day, no living thing will ever see it happen again.